প্রিয় দর্শক, দেশ ভাবনা অনুষ্ঠানে স্বাগত। বাংলাদেশের শত শত দর্শক এবং সারা পৃথিবীর লোক কিছুদিন থেকে টেলিভিশনে দেখছে যে গাজা স্ট্রিপে বম্বার্ডমেন্ট হচ্ছে, বিমান বাহিনী আক্রমণ করছে, গ্রাউন্ড লেভেল থেকে আর্টিলারি ট্যাঙ্ক আক্রমণ করছে এবং তাদের শত্রু হচ্ছে সাধারণ মানুষ। সেখানে নারী পুরুষ নির্বিশেষে এই আক্রমণের জন্য জীবন দিয়েছে। আজকে এই বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে আলোচনা করার জন্য আমাদের সাথে আমরা আমন্ত্রণ জানিয়েছি হিজ এক্সেলেন্সি ইউসুফ রমাদান। উনি হচ্ছেন প্যালেস্টাইনের বাংলাদেশের অ্যাম্বাসেডর। ওয়েলকাম টু আওয়ার শো টুডে। Bangladeshis, I believe, never know that a lot of Palestinians are living inside Israel and outside, like Gaza Strip at the moment, in Jordan, in Lebanon. There are refugees spread all over the places. Tell us about your creation of Israel and Palestinian status.
Well, Assalamu alaikum, and I thank you for inviting me to your show, to your respected channel. I always discuss this issue with the people of Bangladesh in a very honest manner because I consider them my own people. And Palestine was a very peaceful country. We lived in this country for the last 5,000 years, since the Canaanites who built Palestine and built Jerusalem and all the cities. Palestine was invaded from 16 different nations throughout the history, starting from the 1700 BC, ending with 1948, the Zionists.
1700 BC, you said?
BC was the first invasion. And all the major power invaded Palestine. The Roman invaded Palestine and stayed long. The Tatar invaded. The Crusader did that. The Mughal did that. The Greek also did that. The Egyptian
tried to capture the land.
Tried to capture the land due to two important things. First is the strategic location of Palestine. It lies between three continents, Asia, Europe, and Africa. It's in the middle. The other is that from the religious importance also, because most of the prophets born in Palestine lived in Palestine and so on and so on.
And it's important for Christians and Muslims.
It is as important to the Christian and to the Jews and to the, it's equally important to all of them. But it's not, the issue is like we're there before all the religions came. Before
the original
Judaism.
Palestinian population.
Yes, absolutely. So religion, we understand it has nothing to do with this issue, what's happening today. It's the greediness of the people, the greediness of the Zionists, actually. Everybody wanted to control this land.
But at the moment, what is the population of Palestinians living inside Israel? Because I met one Palestinian member of parliament, and she represents the Israeli government. I mean, opposition in the Israeli parliament.
We have 1.85 million people live inside. We call it the territory of 1948, which the rest, they call it Israel today, which I came from originally, actually.
Inside from which part of Israel?
I came from the Akka. Akka is a city on the seaside. It's about 40 kilometers from the South Lebanon border. So we lived there, and most of the Palestinian people in 1948 were forced to leave the country. So you would seek refuge in the nearest secure place. So our city was close to Lebanon, so my family
went to north.
Yes, to the north they went. The people who were close to Jordan, they flee to Jordan. Egypt, flee to Egypt. Syria, flee to Syria. And also, big majority of those refugees, they went to Gaza Strip because it was not occupied then, and to West Bank.
Gaza belonged to Egypt that time.
At that time, it was not belong to anybody. It was belonged to the
Palestinians.
Later on, the Egyptian, after the creation of the Israeli state, Egyptians sent troops and police and so on to administer the
Gaza Strip.
They administer the strip only. So 70% of the Palestinian people living in Gaza are originally refugees from the 1948 land.
Okay, and I remember please finish.
Let me just tell you. Now, the 1.8 million people living today inside the cities which they used to live before, who were kids at that time, children in 1948, they didn't leave, they did not leave. They were about 200,000 or 300,000 people then, or maybe less. And then they grew and they became 1.8
So they become voters now. They are voters, they can vote.
They have to become, they must be, because the Israeli citizenship is imposed on them.
Yeah.
You have to have. They vote, they have the right to vote, all of them. They have the right to become parliament member, but no more than that.
Yeah, there was a speech by one of the female parliament member, originally Palestinian origin, and she said, we recognize Israel, but we are fighting for our rights. We don't want to be a second-class citizen in the same country. That was her. Any idea? Democratic country, Israel they always say we are very democratic. We practice democracy, and in that, how is the condition of the Palestinians living inside?
Well, the Palestinian inside Israel is a third-class citizen, because you have first class and you have second class, and they are the third or the fourth. You see, within the Israeli themselves, they have two classes. One is called Ashkenazi, the European Jews, and one called Sephardim, the Eastern Jews, who came from the Arab countries. First class citizen is the Ashkenazi.
Mostly East Europeans?
Mostly East European, Ukrainian,
Monarch and
Polish.
Begin and all
yes. They are the first class citizen because they always have the highest post in the army and in the government, prime ministers and everything. And then you have the second class citizen, the Sephardim, the Arab Jews. And the third class citizen is the Flasha, they call it, the Jews who came from Africa, the black Jews.
Black Jews.
They are the third. And the Palestinian, because they are Muslim and Christian, they are the fourth class citizen. So you never hear like one of them is a minister or a prime minister or an army general or an army chief or an officer or a mayor or so and so.
There's a limit.
There is a limit.
Unwritten limit for their progress.
Unwritten limit, because in their constitution, which they don't have one, but in the thing that it's a Jewish state, it has to be only for Jewish people. It cannot accept others.
The attack by the Hamas and then retaliation. Can you explain our audience what was the attack and what is the major scale of attack? Retaliation that Israel decided to do in front of international media.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Sure.
They're seeing how civilians are getting killed, but they don't care. What happened? What is the story?
Well, that's why people always misled, especially if they follow the Western media. You see, we all know the control of the Jewish lobby in the Western world. When it comes to the media issue, they do control because they're
very powerful media.
They're very powerful, and they lie, and they continue to lie and lie and lie until they themselves believe this lie, and then they pass it to the Western, and the Western start to repeat it. They adopt it and repeat it, and unfortunately, most of the medias in our countries, they also start to take part of it, and sometimes all of the idea.
Yeah, because world media is saying,
Yeah, they're saying a lot of things.
There's one term, which is, whenever the Muslims issues comes, they say fundamentalist.
Yes.
But the word is not used against the Jews or Christians.
Never. You're not allowed. You'll be an anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it's become automatically in human brain that they are...
They try to change the mindset of the people, which is...
Tell me the story.
Absolutely, it's refused. Well, whoever think that the war or the problem started on the 7th of October, he will be only running after the Israeli narrative or adopting the Israeli narrative, because it's only the Israeli narrative who said that. They forgot that in 1948, the Zionists came from different places of the world, forced me to get out of my home, my land, stripped me from my nationality and my dignity and threw me outside the country and took everything I had. And they changed the name of the country from Palestine to Israel. By force, of course, all that. And at the same time, they say, we give democracy to the Arabs inside who live with us, the Palestinian. I mean, you took everything from us.
In return,
and
you get
yet,
democracy.
return, you want us...
Voting rights.
You know what I mean? So it's
interesting.
horrible things to
I know.
adjust.
Let's take a small break.
Yeah.
We'll come back. প্রিয় দর্শক, ছোট্ট একটি বিরতি নিচ্ছি, সাথেই থাকবেন। প্রিয় দর্শক, ফিরে যাচ্ছি আলোচনায়। You were saying that in return of democracy, you lose your house, your family, your land, and your citizenship.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they want me to pay also a price. The price says I shouldn't resist this occupation. I should accept this injustice. And that's why they fight me. If I raise my voice against, I will be punished for that. So all countries in the world, they were under occupation, many countries. And they all resisted the occupation in all means.
We did it in 71.
You did that in 71. The American did that against the British, right? So why when it comes to the Palestinian, we are not allowed? We become a terrorist. Why they are a hero and we are a terrorist? We did the same thing exactly. We didn't do something extra. So the 7th of October was part of that resistance, which is in the international law. It's allowed to resist occupation in all means, using all means. That's what you want. So the war did not start on the 7th of October. That was a small episode from the whole series.
But that episode gave the Israeli government the opportunity to kill thousands of people.
Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunately. And that is happening in front of the
media,
in front of the whole world, watching it live.
Yeah.
So the question is that, here is the question, that you, the world, have seen everything live. What are you willing to do about it? Are we going to continue to blame Hamas for what they did and say those Palestinians who died, 29,000 people died, plus 12,000 under rubble, mostly women and children, right? Does that give Israel the right to do all that and get away with it?
But what?
They don't have the right. No. They say Israel have the right to defend itself. Occupation have no right to defend itself. It's people under occupation who have the right to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. We have the right to defend. And if let's compare 7th of October with all the massacres done by the Israeli, let's make a comparison.
But more than 1,000 Israelis were killed.
First of all, we have to check how they were killed. How they were killed. Because this is, again, the Israeli narrative about this issue.
That's what we heard.
Yeah, there was 1,200 actually, as they said, it's 12. Let's believe it's 1,200 people. 360 out of them are military people and the rest were civilians. But we have seen footage, clearly footage, that there was many people died in a crossfire. We have seen a footage of an Israeli helicopter, American-made Apache, was shelling and killing the people at the music festivals. It was from the Israeli media. It was shown clearly. And the Palestinian did not kill one single child, did not beheaded anyone, did not rape anyone. It was all lies. That's what I was telling you. The Israeli lie and lie and lie, and then they start believing their own lies. It didn't happen. It will never happen. A Palestinian man will never do that. A Palestinian who believes Allah exists doesn't believe that.
But give Netanyahu such power
Yeah.
to thinking that he can kill in front of publicly civilians, nothing will happen to him.
Look, the Prime Minister of Israel knew that after the last day of the war, when this war, the second day of the war, he's no more Prime Minister of Israel. He will not run the country anymore. So he's fighting for a survivor. And who's paying the bill? We, the people of Palestine, are paying.
When the internal politics you're talking about, Israeli politics?
Internally, the far right in Israel are very powerful. And the far right support Benjamin Netanyahu, the powerful people in the far right. They do support the war, they support the killing of the people, they support the massacres of the people, absolutely.
So it's a basically Zionist
Zionists are growing.
Zionism
inside,
is growing in
growing stronger and stronger and stronger. And for that, it's our blood is the price.
No, but you see, in countries like we under the leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, we become Bengali nationalist. But that doesn't mean we go out and killing others. But here, the Zionists established themselves and every time responding heavily on civilians, saying, you cannot touch Israel.
This is the other problem. Look what the Americans are doing. The Americans are telling before the media, in front of the media, we do not advise Israel to continue this war. We don't advise you to kill the civilians. We don't advise you to go to Rafah, which has 1.7 million people. Tiny 60 square kilometer Rafah is with.
Is it southern?
It's the southern part on the Egyptian border. They're saying all that nicely, the president and Mr. Blinken and other advisors. But on the other hand, they're providing Israel with the cleaver to chop the Palestinian people. You don't give them weapon and tell don't kill. Then why are you giving me the weapon? The tools.
For bird hunting.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we have to stop saying that the American are the American policy are the most dangerous on the Palestinian people.
What lead to Americans to come up with such policies?
The Americans are doing that for the last 500 years. I mean, they also did almost the same thing. They killed the Red Indian, they slaughtered them, right? And they made their country. So Israel is doing the same thing. It did that, and this is the only two countries in the world, where they were not the original owner of the land.
The original people of the land.
And through power and force and genocide, they were able to flourish. And that is the truth. We shouldn't forget history.
Of course. Now, I think not in the United States of America only, neighboring country Canada, then Western European, like England, for example, UK, France, Germany, they kind of have similar approach towards this genocide. They said Israel has rights to protect themselves. Israelis has rights.
Well, look, there is always a king, and below the king you have the ministers, and below they have vice ministers. Those countries are like that, but the king is there. The king is America, and whatever the king says, the rest has to follow and to say yes. But they say it in a different way. But they finally have to obey, and that is the truth, and that is the realities.
But these gentlemen, they are talking about human rights,
yes,
gender issues, female rights, children's protection, all over the world. And in case of Ukraine war, they went crazy supporting Ukraine.
Yes.
The $1 billion of weapons they're providing to continue the war. I mean, these two stand by the Europeans. It's very clear to the people of the world, right?
Look, Israel is taking us, and America also, taking us to the dark ages. In the past, hundreds of years ago, lots of killing took place, massacre took place, genocide took place, and everything took place. And there was no social media, there was no media at all actually.
To cover the story.
No conversation. United Nations did not exist. International Criminal Court did not exist. International Court of Justice did not exist. International law did not exist. So all these happened, right?
under the umbrella.
Nobody even knew about it. They knew later on, or they heard, or they read. Weeks or months after.
Months after.
But today, things are taking place live on TV. I have seen something, I think many people saw this one. A boy was shot, a 10 years old boy was shot in front of a hospital by a sniper, an Israeli sniper. He fell. Someone tried to pick him up, pull him. The sniper tried to shoot those people who tried to help. So no one is allowed to come until the boy died. And what happened? Cats came around him and started eating his body. And that was, the camera was rolling and the world was watching. Imagine if such thing happened to other boy in anywhere in the world. The doer will be not only, he should be crucified.
Of course.
Right? And his leaders and so on. But when it comes to Israel, no, like Israel have the right to, under this, Israel have the right to defend itself. You defending yourself from a 10 years old boy? 13,500 children being killed.
Yeah. No, I think that...
Where is the defending? What defend? Defend yourself from whom? Women, pregnant women.
But the sentiment or the power in the Arab world have changed because last in the war, in the 60s, when the war broke out between
67.
Israelis and Palestinians, the Arabs jumped into this war and then got involved. But this time, South Africa has to come and say that we want justice.
Ooh.
What is this? What changes happen in Arab nations?
Well, this is very unfortunate also. Unfortunately, we are extremely weak because we are not united.
Pardon?
At all. We are very weak because we are not united.
Not united.
As a
let me take a break. I will come back again. প্রিয় দর্শক, আলোচনা এই প্রজেক্টে ছোট্ট বিরতি নিচ্ছি, সাথেই থাকবেন। প্রিয় দর্শক, ফিরে যাচ্ছি আজকে আমাদের আলোচনায়। I was asking you about this. The world is quiet. People have seen the children has been killed by the soldiers, regular soldiers, and United Nations is not responding, not able to respond properly. Western world is quiet. So where will you go?
Well, we still have hope because we cannot live without hope. We can never live. We've been living with this hope for the last 76 years, and we will continue. We can only depend on our people. This is number one. We depend on our people, that those people should never give up and should continue their struggle in any way they can, regardless of the situation they're living in. I know it is difficult. It's been 135 days and the killing has not stopped. The slaughter has not stopped. The genocide, it's the longest genocide in history. Look, the Nazi did not do to the Jews what the Zionists are doing to us. They're starving us, not only killing us. They're starving the Palestinians.
The supply of water. Before we go into we were actually discussing about Arab unity.
Yes.
We want to hear that and then we'll come back.
The Arab unity, related to the Arab position, I can simplify it with one word. It's like, since in unity you have a strength, then in division you'll have weakness. And that is the situation related to the Arab. The Arab world are 400 million people. 400 million people. It's not a small number you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Rich countries, right? Big land. We live in a 14 million square kilometer. 14 million square kilometer. Huge. We have everything. Gas, oil, gold, minerals, everything is available with big number. And then you have in the heart of this Arab world a created state called Israel. in the heart of the Arab world with 6 million Jews, or Zionist majority of them. And those 6 million are able to decide the faith of the other 400 million. So it's not, I mean, if you try to calculate, it doesn't work, right?
It doesn't work.
You need a much more genius person.
No, that's what I was saying. South Africa has to come up.
Yes,
with,
bravely.
Bravely come up and ask for justice.
Absolutely, absolutely. The world has to move because look, today is happening in Palestine. Tomorrow it might happen somewhere else. And then we don't want a Palestinian issue or Palestinian genocide to be like a scale. In the future, if something similar happened for other country, people will say, the Palestinian paid more price, Israel did more. It goes like this, it'll become like a scale. And then it'll be a mindset that if you commit a mini genocide, it's okay. Okay, it shouldn't be big. So that's why South Africa did on behalf not of the Palestinian, but on behalf of humanity. Because they want to protect humanity, they want to protect the humanity. Those are the people who we should respect.
Of course.
Because they do and
justice.
they don't say. But the Western world, and mainly American, they only say, but they do totally the opposite. They talk about human rights.
No, but you see, if you compare Ukraine war,
This is a big example.
No, Ukraine, they were talking about humanity, crisis of humanity, attack on civilians by the Russians. And in this case, they are simply quiet.
Yeah, because actually one of the biggest enemy of the American is the Russian and the Chinese, right? Those are the main.
But then world balance, the situation is not like 60s or 70s or 80s.
Yes, true.
Now you have China and Russia and India also coming up. India is a friend of the United States for the business purposes, that's I understand. But the world also have a lobby, which is a new lobby, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, the Jewish lobby is very strong.
Jewish lobby is very strong.
Very strong in America.
But this protest by the Chinese, protest by the Russia, open up a new door for discussion.
Look, even if you have a strong Jewish lobby, if this lobby start working against the interest of the United States of America, the United States of America should take a position, should take a stand. Because when you are working in America and you're an American citizen, and your interest and your loyalty to another country, regardless, Israel or not, this is not good. This is not in the best interest of America itself.
Of course.
And what they're doing is the Israelis doing that, using the American weapon, making everybody hates America more than hating Israel itself. Because you're providing me the power, the tool, everything. The intelligence, the information, the coverage, the United Nations, the vetoes and all that. So it's like a baby. It's like Israel becomes like a baby to its own baby to the American. And you have a spoiled baby. I mean, this spoiled baby is giving you a bad reputation. So it cannot continue.
No, but I think America knows
continue.
But still America is doing it. There's something interesting. We still knowing they're doing the wrong things, but they keep doing it and asking Europe to do the same thing.
Yeah, this is the American policy because they have been living like this for 500 years. And they don't want balance at all. They want to remain the only superpower in the world. That's why they fight Putin, and they wanted to, it's Russia to bleed until it's over so they can turn to China. That is their policy.
Sounds like.
Everybody knows the story. It's not something that you can hide. But obviously they don't present it this way. They present it in a different way. The cover is human rights and the right for Ukraine to defend itself, the right Ukraine to take the right decision, become member of NATO or not, and all this.
Yeah.
I mean, people, look, the good thing about, I must tell you, with all the social media's negativity sometimes, there's a lot of positivity about this issue. That people in general all over the world, they have enough knowledge. They're becoming more and more knowledgeable people. And there is no more secrets.
Of course.
There's no more secret. So they can see and hear everything. And that's why today, what's happening is different than what happened in 1967 when Israel took the rest of Palestinian land, part of Egypt, part of Syria, part of Lebanon, and part of Jordan. Nothing happened, right? But today, with tiny place called Gaza Strip, the whole world are watching and denouncing and rejecting and giving opinion.
Of course.
Right? So this is the changes taking place. Is very good not only for the Palestinian, but it's for the rest of the world. It is good for humanity. But it should be recorded that for that humanity, the Palestinians are paying the bill. The only people who are paying the price.
With their blood. But,
yes,
but the
absolutely.
people came out on the street, completely unknown people.
Yes.
Men, women, children came out in supporting to stop this violence by the Israelis.
Because they used to be injected with false information, and today they discover the truth.
Yeah,
that is one
a friend
of
of
the
mine who was actually, I was working for him in a hospital in USA. He said when we were young and student, we always read Holy Land of Israel. Mm-hmm. The term Holy Land of Israel, he said that's what we thought, and we still think it's the Holy Land of Israel. Every land is holy. There's no doubt about it. But I think the policies are what matters. In fact, Obama was discussing with, I think, German Chancellor, and he had the microphone on, and he said, Netanyahu lies. He tells lie to me and to others, and they'll changes. And this became viral. Everybody came to know that he's number one. Sometimes he lie and tell not the truth.
The Israeli society, they also know that. The American administration today, Biden also, he knows that. Everybody knows he's lying. Everyone knows. There's no one. Netanyahu today is like a very clear to everybody in the world. Netanyahu doesn't care about those prisoners and hostages, if they live or if they die, if being released or not released. Netanyahu, his main intention is one intention and only one. How can he stay in power in Israel? Because he will never accept anyone else to take over.
He needed this war.
He needed this war
or to stay in power.
He's using this war to kill as much as possible from the Palestinian people to satisfy those bloodthirsty majority in the Zionist state and the Zionist community. And he will tell those people that I was the only prime minister who provided you with such an important result. I killed that much, I ended that much, and I destroyed that much. And finally, his intention actually is to drive the Palestinian again.
Out from the Gaza Strip.
Out from Gaza Strip. So Gaza Strip will be flattened. And then it will be for his benefit, he will stay in power. He can stay.
He wants to be a hero.
He wants to be a hero, of course he wants to be a hero. But finally he doesn't care what happens after he dies. He cares as long as he lives, he wants to remain in power. But Netanyahu have charges. He has 4 charges of corruption.
Against him, yeah.
But who will dare talk to him about this issue today? There is a war.
He's a hero, national hero.
Yeah.
But is he an American citizen? He sounds like American to me.
Yeah, he studied and he worked.
Grown up in America.
And he was the permanent representative of Israel at the United Nations. Mm-hmm. And his education was... I think, I'm not sure, I think he's Ukrainian. I think so, he's original.
Sounds very New York.
Yeah, but he lived there. But his father, I'm talking about his father and grandfather.
There's frequently we say that there was a blockage by the Israelis. When this word used against Gaza Strip previously, a blockage, what this blockage means actually? What type of blockage is this?
Okay, from 2007, Israel took a decision because Israel has a border from 3 sides with Gaza Strip. North part, eastern part, and part from the south. They have border. And the other part is with Egypt, and then you have the Mediterranean Sea. Right?
Israel has border with Egypt?
They have a tiny border, Rafah border, okay, to Israel. But it's also, practically, it's controlled by Israel, practically. Okay. So what they did is, they block all the strip completely from 3 sides, and they made like gates. and they don't allow people to cross in and out. And then from the sea also they block, and from the air. So the only place left.
See, their gunboats, I mean,
Yes,
the ships are there to block
absolutely. So even if the fishermen, they go to make some fishing and this and that, in certain place, if they exceed, they will shoot them and kill them.
okay.
It happens that. And from the air. So the only place left for the Palestinian is underground. That's why they make all these tunnels to hide. This is nothing left, actually. You push them to that level. You push them to make.
What is the Gaza Strip, what is the population?
The population is 2.42 million.
And from north, they are in south, and they are bombarding in south, so where they will go?
This is the question. That's where will they go? If they go back to the north, there is no place to live in the north because north is almost flattened. The fact is there's no food. There is shortage of food in the south. So what's going to be in the north? 35 hospital in the north is completely, doesn't work. It's out of, it's finished, it's over, it's destroyed. So these injured people, where will they go? Which hospitals they go? Where is the food? Where's the shelter?
No, water supply is not
There's
there.
there's nothing. There is nothing essential.
How people eat, drink,
That's the
or
problem.
take shower, or nothing?
They don't take shower. There is no time to take shower. They save the money to drink the water. They don't have enough. And they save the money, they save the water, and they save the food for the children, actually. There's some people,
So
they eat
give
once every 3-4 days. Only once. So they're able to feed their children.
We know this, and the world knows it, and we can't do anything about it. Let's cross all the limit of tolerance, I
Of
think.
course, I understand we can't do anything about it, but others can do a lot about it. Others can stop it. And it will take them only 48 hours to stop that.
And who are these others you're
Well,
in your
there
mind?
there is only one, and one only, Mr. Biden, the President of the United States of America. If he tell Israel, stop Israel, Netanyahu
He has the button
will
to stop
obey
it.
To stop, yes. Because
But he is not stopping it in
he's
that
not
way.
stopping it. He's not stopping it. He is in, I don't know, he wants to win both sides in the election. He wants to win the Jewish votes and whoever the Jewish influence, and he wants to win the Muslim and the Arabs and other.
How?
He thinks that his policy, saying something and doing something else, he will please both. It doesn't work this way. Never works this way. And he himself said once, twice, and thrice and more, I'm a Zionist.
Who said?
Biden.
He said he's Zionist.
He said it 40 years ago. He said it again and again and again.
His Zionism is to protect Israel. Zionism is a term that is very dangerous for the civilians and
but
others
that's what he said.
around
He said
Israel.
it openly. He said it openly. Look in the Congress, the American Congress and so on. You have to be pro-Israel. It's a must.
Same thing goes for Canada, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. And then we're talking about the big one, the one who
Powerful one.
Powerful one, who really have, active and effective. Canada, with respect to Canada, it's limited. Their power are very, very limited.
Of course.
So we talk about the king, all right? If he says stop, and he means it, you need to be brave to say it. This needs courage.
But as an ambassador, what is you think stopping him from saying that, to stop this war?
Well, I think you have to ask him if you have a chance to say why. But I give my assessment about this issue.
Yeah,
And
yes.
this guy, he wants to win both sides. He wants to win the election. It's the same thing. It's all politics. He wants to win another 4 years. And Netanyahu, he wants to be prime minister again. He wants to continue to be prime minister. See, it's politics. It's being
So,
on the top
Mr.
and Palestinian.
So American president wants to be tough
Suffer.
guy. Tough guy, show that I can. The other candidate. What's the other candidate in America?
Mr.
Trump. So
Donald.
he wants to be as strong or stronger than Trump, that I can do it.
Yes. Look, unfortunately, I've seen, we all witnessed the American presidents from very long time. But he didn't show strength. Unfortunately, he showed weakness. In this field, he showed that he's weak.
He's weak.
Where is the American president who
American president, yeah, I mean, he after like this start, he could have started and actually become gainer if he has.
Yeah, he did not represent the power and of United States, right? He didn't represent that. He didn't show that he's good enough.
And
I'm not an American, so I'm not going to judge
Yeah.
is he good enough for the country or not good enough.
No, that's a
As an
different story.
outsider, I don't see it as
As
tough
strong
as
as-
enough and strong as enough.
But
because
Trump visited Israel. He suggested to remove the capital
he did.
city.
He did.
And he sounded more Israeli than Israelis
Oh yes.
in the parliament of Israel.
Yeah, he said I have a Jewish grandchildren, so that's good enough.
Yeah. His daughter is married to a
But
Jewish
look,
man.
Trump run things different than Biden. Trump run things according to business interest. It's like business. It's like the world is let's say gambling saloon and the towers and so on. It's business
He's a
issue.
cab-
And the other guy is a Zionist. I don't know. But it's a time for other words also to do something.
voice.
Collectively.
Our prime minister,
Collectively.
Yeah, our prime minister, Sheikh Hasina, has said it several times to stop this war, stop killing civilians.
Look, she said something more important than that. In Jeddah, during the conference of the Islamic organization, she said, if we are united as a Muslim countries, we're able to do much more than we do today. So let's get united for one issue only, which is the Palestinian issue. That is a very important thing, she said, because as united, we can do a lot. And we, as united countries, we can put pressure on the American, which force the American to tell Israel, stop. This is also, we have to be fair also. The pressure is being kept on the American. It's not enough.
Not enough to stop.
Not enough to stop the war or to make him stop the war. He has to feel that there is a pressure and that the interests of the American are in danger, and then he will take another decision. But
No, but there are many countries around the world, including our prime minister, in UN bodies and several places. They said that this unequal war of killing civilians needs to stop.
yeah, well, all the people said that. Every human being will say that, including some Israeli. They have said that. Some Jewish have said that. It's true. But we live in a world saying is not good enough. Saying is not good enough. You have to show power which support your idea. What power do we have as Bangladesh? Not enough. What power we have as a Palestinian, as a Saudi, but collectively, yes, we have.
Now, for the
We do
proper
have. The
rights,
United Nations, Guterres himself, he spoke perfectly well from day one, right?
They took
And he's
his
still
time.
speaking, and they're going against him. They're going against him in any way that they can. Hala, saying is good, but not good enough.
in a personal level, in your personal level, I'm sure you're meeting a lot of Bangladeshi leaders and others, and their sentiment you know.
Yes, they are.
So you know that how much support, their sympathy they feel for the Palestinian people.
The government of Bangladesh and the leader of Bangladesh are going on the same level with the people of Bangladesh. This is the feeling of every human being, every Bangladeshi human being. If you reject injustice on yourself to be implied on you, you will reject it when it's implied on others. This is a philosophy and it's logic, right? And Bangladesh rejected that and fought for independence, right? And paid a heavy price for it. So they will not accept this thing to be inflicted on them.
Of course.
They would definitely, and not only in any other nation. So this kind of things in Bangladesh, they have a very principled attitude toward that.
Of course.
Plus, the sentiment of it, Muslim to Muslim, and the first Qibla of Islam is under occupation. This is also something we should not forget at all. Al-Masjid al-Aqsa was the first Qibla of Islam, right? So this is under occupation since 1967. And what are we Muslims doing about it? Right? This is when your son asks you this question,
But I think that, yeah, of course.
Right.
But I'm saying it's beyond Muslim. The Christians, the Palestinians, there are a lot of Palestinian Christians are there. There are some of the even Israelis, some of the Israeli population are out there saying, stop this. So it is a very strange situation, but it is the power they have to ignore all the requests of stopping war.
yes, that's true. Look, this issue related to Palestine is not anymore, in my opinion, it's not anymore related to Christian and Muslim.
No, not at all.
It's related to humanity itself.
And look
The ethic
at the
of
people coming out on the street. Very few of them are
beside the
Muslims.
point. This is exactly what I meant, that we all have differences among ourselves. We will have a lot of differences. But finally, we have a lot of things in common. Because when it comes to the matter of life and death, then death is the enemy of everybody. So we all fight it. We should all fight. I'm not talking about human. I'm not talking about the normal people. I'm talking about the leaders who finally decides everything. The people in the whole world, including in America, the majority, vast majority, are against Israel with the Palestinian, against injustice with justice. This is something we didn't have to discuss about it. It's very, very clear. But finally, is the people who have the right to take the decision, are those people who are providing Israel with all the weapons
And support.
to continue to kill the Palestinian? No, they're not. It's their government are doing that. Their government are doing that.
The people, Americans are protesting against this massacre.
57% of the Americans, 57% of the Americans
against this war.
against this war.
Can you call this a war?
No, it's not a war, it's a genocide.
The term war is not applicable here.
It's a genocide. It's a complete crime which can be only characterized under genocide and ethnic cleansing.
It is.
If it is not, then what?
I don't see cannons or tanks or plane or anything in the Palestinian side.
No.
How do you call it a war?
No, not only that. When you discover that 71% of the casualties is women and children, then what? When you discover that 70% of the houses and the infrastructure, the schools, the hospitals, the mosques, the churches is being flattened, then this is not really a war.
It's not really.
Not more than a war.
That's right.
You cannot describe it. I want somebody to teach me what is the description of this. It's not war, it's not war. What it is? It is a genocide. It's ethnic cleansing.
Very sad. I mean,
And that's why
we claim
it's the responsibility of every person on this earth who breathes to take action against this.
Of course.
It's
Because it is.
Bangladesh, by the way, I have not given. Bangladesh are doing really extremely good. Immediately after South Africa took a decision, Bangladesh was the second country to do the same, by the way. It was, although they were during the election and they were busy, but immediately, first thing after this government
Before the Arab nations.
Much before, immediately after the day that the government was formed, the second day, the first decision was signed by Foreign Minister of Bangladesh is to join South Africa.
In support of South Africa.
Not only in support, to be part
of the process.
Yes.
This is very progressive.
This is something
thinking.
it will always be recorded in the history,
Bangladesh
Bangladesh and Palestine as well.
I think Bangladeshi policy, foreign policy is very sensitive on this issue.
Very brave.
And brave.
It's important. You need to be very brave. To take a decision, you cannot take a decision out of nothing. You need to be brave enough to take this decision.
Of course.
It is not. And you have a very brave Prime Minister.
We all agree on that.
She is extremely brave.
She takes a stand and not going to move. You see, in experience of 71 or followed different events that she took her stand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in a country like this with a huge population, you go nowhere.
I think the environment she lived her life in. I read the book of The Unfinished Memory 20 times because we made the translation of it to Arabic and so on and print. So I had to read it so many times. I imagine myself, because he spoke about his daughter and his sons and so on, his wife and his father and so on. So I wanted to put myself on his shoes and how it feels. So a woman who lived in this environment, who were her father, she didn't see much of him. Most of his time was in
He was
jail.
in jail.
Okay.
So you read the book, all right.
Yes, I read it. So how would she feel? How does she grow up?
Of course.
How does that develop? And then she continue, and finally, they massacred her children, her family, all her family. So obviously, she is very well prepared to take only a very brave decision and to be with justice against injustice, with good against evil, very clearly.
Thank you very much.
This is something I have to.
Thank you very much for saying this, because we all know that our country, the policy we have, is very clear and very sensitive to human rights issues, especially this kind of unfair war in Gaza Strip. Thank you very much for coming here today.
It's really a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. প্রিয় দর্শক, আমরা এতক্ষণ গাজা স্ট্রিপের যুদ্ধ নিয়ে কথা বললাম। এটাকে যুদ্ধ বলবো না গণহত্যা বলবো সেটাই প্রশ্ন, কিন্তু এটা অবশ্যই যুদ্ধ নয়, কারণ আমরা দেখলাম অপরপক্ষে কোনো সৈন্য বা জাহাজ বা প্লেন কিছুই নেই। সুতরাং এটাকে গণহত্যাই বলবো আমরা। আমরা চাইবো যে এটা বন্ধ হোক, এই যুদ্ধ বন্ধ হোক যত তাড়াতাড়ি সম্ভব। আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী এই ব্যাপারে পরিষ্কার বক্তব্য রেখেছেন এবং জাতিসংঘের বিভিন্ন সংগঠনে আমাদের প্রতিনিধিরা তাই বলছেন। আমরা আশা করি এই যুদ্ধ শেষ হবে এবং সেই গাজা স্ট্রিপের প্যালেস্টাইনিয়ানরা একটু সুখ খুঁজে পাবে জীবনে। তাদের প্রতি সহানুভূতি জানিয়ে আমি আমাদের অনুষ্ঠান এখানে শেষ করছি। সাথে থাকার জন্য অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।